This is an old mofo. My friends. I'm so scared to open it. What does it say? That says, I can't read it. Raspberry never lemon. Oh, that's great. Let's open it to a page and see what it is. Wow, compelling. I'm gonna voyage to see if I can find the actual drawing of Makheim, the sketch that I did. I did it in Oregon. It might be here in a sketchbook, or I did it on a piece of paper, somehow managed to bring it back and scan it. It's probably around here somewhere, but I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Spoiler alert, I never found it, but that's okay because it's scanned onto my computer, and I'm not entirely sure why I was looking for it in the first place. But here it is. I was really proud of it back when I drew it. It was just a sketch, and I put it onto my computer and colored it, and wow. I think there's a lot of opportunities to make this better. Look at that forearm. It is Makheim though, and Makheim is cute and muscly and awesome. So I guess that's what we'll go for. We'll go for strong, formidable, and epic. Stay tuned to see if we can accomplish that. By we, I mean I.
Okay, yeah, so I just did the sketch. I just went through the sketch process, like the entire of it. I went through the entirety of my sketch process, how I wanted like the lines, like movement. I am no expert on what movement should be in a picture and directional forces and all that. But I kind of had a general idea because I know how Makheim is. He's very regal. He's very confident and strong. And I want his presence to not be only formidable but beautiful. And I wish I could draw a beautiful, strong dude. He's not nearly as bulky as he should be, but I have a really hard time exaggerating anatomy. I shouldn't. It's part of art. It's supposed to be fun. But yeah, I can't help myself. I got that realism in me wants it to be there. You can see I spent way more time on the muscles on the arm than I probably needed to, because it's gonna get covered up by clothing anyway. But yeah, it's not accurate. Don't look at this and go, anatomy correct. Perfect. Use references, please.
Oh, silly past me. Everybody knows to use references. Except for past me. I had references for muscles and such. I was using those for the arms, but not an exact pose, which is why I took so long. Sometimes I think it's more fun to suffer while I'm drawing, and this entire video you will get a great glimpse into the psyche of me while I am in the middle of a process, in the, as one would say, throes of creation. But really, I'm just having breakdowns and panicking. If you find that kind of stuff entertaining, then you've come to the right place. Hopefully some of this will be helpful. But more so just, I hope to be entertaining, since I am no professional, and I do not claim to be a professional. Also, why did I have the picture of Makheim on the side? I don't know. I was barely looking at it. It was a strange reminder of the past, and it wasn't helping at all. And as you can see, I strayed very far from the original path. That's okay though, because I got the approval for this pose from my Instagram followers. I usually go there to ask questions and to help myself when I just do not have any idea if I'm going the right direction, or I have two options and I don't know, and sometimes I get lots of suggestions, so that is always nice. So head over there if you are interested in being a part of my videos and my art process.
You know what's funny is when I'm drawing, I feel like everything I do is awful. Awful. Looks awful. And I feel like there's no hope. Why am I trying? I should quit. And then I like go away from it and I come back and I'm like, oh, it's a little better, and I keep going and I get through it. It looks okay in the end. But watching the time lapse, it's just like, okay, wow, oh, I see, interesting. That didn't work, so they got rid of it. Wow. Watching it, it has that like they know what they're doing vibe. And I say they as if I'm not myself. But me during the process is like, and then me watching it is like, oh, cool. So, yeah. I don't know if other artists have that. Do you have that if you're an artist? If you're a non-artist watching this, is it like, whoa, that's so cool? Or is it like, oh my god, you suck? Like, I'm very curious. Please tell me.
By this time I had gotten approval for the pose. I didn't want to get too attached to it and go super far if nobody liked it, and I started working on the details. I mean, I'd been working on the details, but you can see the hands here. And you can tell I started with something that looks pretty okay, but I didn't have a reference, and I knew that I was going to suffer with those digits. So there, you can tell I have a reference now, and usually I take pictures of my own hands, and I use myself as a reference, because that's all I have. And it looks so weird. Hands are just weird in general, and I remember while I was doing this, I just thought, oh my gosh, this looks absolutely awful. Everyone's gonna think you can't draw, you suck. But really, it's okay. It's fine. You've got to work through the awkward, weird stage when you're looking at a reference to get to that point of comfort and, okay, this is acceptable. And hands in particular, hands, feet, I would argue that for me personally, elbows and knees and like any kind of joints, just, they're weird and they're awkward and they don't always look right. And that's where, as an artist, you take liberties once you get familiar with anatomy enough to be able to not need a lot of references all the time. You take liberties and make them look less weird by doing what looks nice to you. And that's kind of where people's style comes from. I did not need to use a reference. I could have kept going with what I had before and it would have been more stylized. Probably less realistic, but more interesting and more better looking in my own eyes. The face was... I usually do okay with faces. I draw faces a lot. A lot. But yeah, so don't panic. Keep your towel close by and just push on through. You can do it. That's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference, by the way, in case anybody wonders. I'm not crazy, I promise, only slightly. So you'll get there. It just push through, and there's that motivation or that desire to just quit and stop, but you have to push through and finish the piece to get the most from it. And I know that's really not something you always want to do, but trust me, it's worth it. Also be kind to yourself and support yourself while you're drawing. It's too easy for that inner critic of ours to go, you suck. Just flip them off and keep drawing. Screw the inner critic. They suck. Also, look what I found in my sketchbook. Egg. Wasn't that just fantastic? Aren't you glad I shared that? I have a lot of old sketches, and some of them are quite hilarious.
Jesus criminy, look at this writing! Oh, I was so... Did I date this? No. Pain. Sometimes something can hurt so much you cry. I know, the same goes for fear, but there's no pain greater than the one I'm feeling. And the thought of, am I going to die, running through my mind scares me a lot. And so does the thought of leaving the ones I love behind. But I worry about my brother. Also, if he dies and I don't, then we might as well both die. So we won't both be alone. But I don't want to die as much as I don't want him to die, but even if we both die, we'd be leaving everyone we love behind. Oh, I can't stand it all. It's so much to think of at once. And the pain. Ooh. Okay, that's enough of that.
Oh, Arlen. Young angsty me, angsty teen me writing as Arlen. Let me know if you want more of that. I could probably make a couple videos of my old writing. It's gold. Anyways, I got that out of my system. I had a little bit of a issue with where I wanted to put the scythe, but I made the decision to put it that way. And I mean, I bet you're wondering how he does that. That doesn't make any sense. He couldn't possibly move it over his head like that, or, you know, the way his hand is. He couldn't hold the scythe. Well, let me tell you, Makheim can do whatever the floop he wants, because he's Makheim, and he's strong. And I can prove, too, that this makes sense on a physical level. Just watch. You won't want to see that anyway. Didn't hurt. There, see? Definitive proof. Can't argue with me now. Up next, we have me panicking because I don't know how to draw clothes. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. Just, because clothing is hard.
If you've never taken your fashion forward friends seriously, if you've never taken your fashion forward friends seriously, now's a great time to do so, especially if you can't draw clothing like me. Oh, thick boy, help me put the clothes on your body. I can't do it. I'm gonna cry. It's like I can't draw the anatomy perfectly. What makes you think I'm gonna draw the anatomy of clothing perfectly? Clothing is another species entirely. He's got a scythe. Why would I put, like, anything that could catch the scythe while he's swinging it around? He's got these big flowy doomajigs on, the tasseled tail coat.
Now that I'm out of the way, you can see that I was talking about those. I'm not sure what I was thinking other than that looks really cool when I was little. They're not very practical. I feel in general that fantasy clothing isn't given the appreciation it deserves. At least the people that created, well, some of the better fantasy outfits, don't get the appreciation that they deserve. It's really difficult to create something that makes sense for the character and look practical and real and meaningful. At least for me, it's really difficult. It's an art form in and of itself, so if you're struggling with that, don't feel too bad. I'm not just saying that to make myself feel better, because I'm bad at putting clothing on my characters. Yeah, I thought that looked like a bib.
It's a mid-range weapon. He's got to be able to move. Ugh. He's got to be able to swing around the thing. Wee woo. Can you do that with plates of armor on? Your pauldrons are gonna go dink dink on your head, your shoulders. Can you do the joints? Can you flexible with the armor? I don't think you can.
Oh, the joys of panicking while you're drawing. The scythe gave me a little bit of trouble too. I know that the degree of the curve of a blade really matters, but I have yet to look up the exact degree for Makai's scythe because I'm a procrastinator. And that's what I do. But otherwise, I didn't want to get too detailed with the scythe. This isn't about the scythe this time, even though it's got a skeletal hand holding the blade. And usually I like to make it pretty detailed. This time I really didn't want to. It's not really about the scythe today anyways, or the last couple days. More about just recreating a picture to make it look better, and it ends up being all about a background that I don't show the process of.
Okay, no, but seriously. So what I'm doing is losing which layer I'm on. Okay, when you color, I'm scared to do this. I'm genuinely afraid because I seem to color differently every time. It doesn't matter, and I don't even like line art, but I've been doing that recently because you can plop the colors into said layers, and it's great I guess it's just easier for people, I guess, to do. I personally, it just depends. I have so many different ways that I like to color, and God, there's no wrong way to do things. You can do whatever you want. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying things. I'm trying things, and you can see what you think. You can do whatever you want. You could go, wow, I ain't gonna do that. She's dumb. She's being really dumb. That's not a good idea.
It's always best to try new things when you're drawing. You don't want to fall into a stagnant pattern. And sometimes, who knows, you might find something new that you really enjoy. I'm not fond of this method in particular, but there are definitely parts of it that I will be using in the future. Now we jump into the turbulent creation of the background, of which I have spared you from most of. So as I usually do when I can't make a decision, I asked my Instagram followers, and of course they gave me some absolutely wonderful suggestions. It's always very hard to choose, especially when I love them all, but in particular, I found that I stuck with two. I have a soft spot for fancy things, I think. Anything with cool lighting.
Nobody wanted to watch me fumble around with the perspective ruler. I figured it out eventually. I might go over, do a little video, and maybe a drawing with more perspective stuff, because it's a really helpful tool in Clip Studio. It's really helpful, but I started the drawing first and then did the perspective after, and that was so maybe I'll like do a troubleshoot thing. Saves people some hours, unless you're not as slow as I am, so maybe it's not necessary. But anyway, I lost some of that, and I honestly wasn't sure I was gonna be able to do things. And then I was playing D&D, and I wasn't gonna record the whole session while I was working on the background. That would have been hilarious, but I'm not gonna put my friends' voices on the internet. But maybe I'll do another background like that, because that was really cool. I was actually pleased with how it came out. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else to say.
One of the requests was to make it in ruins, but I really ended up liking how it turned out, so I'm glad that the vote was to keep it nice and clean. You can see what I mean right now. There's a hint of the background. I'm just so glad I didn't have to ruin it. But this is what I was talking about with the clipping layers earlier, how I said I don't know if I like this style, and it has to do with line art, and blah 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 blah. It's actually really helpful. Being able to create crisp shadows by selecting just specific layers, because colors don't bleed. So maybe I can go about finding a more efficient way for me to do it without me fumbling around. Or maybe I just need more practice. I don't know, stay tuned, we'll find out in future videos. This method is actually really useful too for texture. You'll notice that I added texture on the clothing, and in the background too I used the same thing. Using the lasso tool, it kept the textured brushes from going outside of the edges, so it gives you crisp edges, and it's super cool. I actually really liked it. So it's definitely helpful for detail. Don't be afraid to use the lasso tool. I, for some reason, was really afraid to use it for the longest time. It looked like a fancy thing that only, professional fancy artists used. Well, let me tell you a little secret. You can be a fancy professional artist too. Just grab that lasso tool and swing your way into the world of fanciness. That's what I did. It's worth it. It's worth every penny, every ounce of forearm strength to swing your way into the... Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I quit. That bit's over. It's done now. Metal. He has metal armor, and it's supposed to look gold. And I wanted it to be kind of gold to go with the color scheme, which was supposed to be green and gold, but purple. Yay, purple. So, yeah. Metal's hard. Study metal. I need to study more metal. I say too much, but that's okay. I might be from Umbridge. None of you know. Just do what you want. It comes to a point where if you're not doing this for a company or your job, you do whatever you want. It's your art. Make it look cool. I wasn't looking at a metal reference because I didn't feel like it, and my computer screen is small, and sometimes when I'm recording, I want to record the full screen, so there's more to look at. Ignore the whole first half of the video where I actually had something that I wasn't even looking at for the entirety of my sketching. That would have been the perfect time for a reference, and my my excuses, man. Oh, jeez. Anyway.
it also occurred to me I didn't really show the whole coloring process. I didn't show I didn't show my rendering phrase because I feel like everybody, I don't know, I let me know if you want to see that more than you want to see I put the beginning sketch in there because I thought it would be more valuable to see. Yeah, I'd struggle. It takes me a while to get through the anatomy because I didn't have a reference. I was looking at pictures of muscles and stuff, but I didn't have the pose. I didn't have the reference. So there's a way to get there. It's not perfect. My style comes through, and inaccuracy is, I think, a part of a style. I don't even know if I have a style. I just said I did. Like I have one. But yeah. So let me know if you prefer. Skip the sketch. Nobody gives a crap. Let me see the rendering. I want to see the line art because I didn't do the line art really either. You're just going over the lines again. And that just takes time. And I don't want to add 5 minutes into it. So, yeah, let me know.
But my beautiful myth folk, I think that this video has gone on long enough. It is already very long, and if you have made it this far, then congratulations! Well, thank you. I don't really have a prize or anything, just the finished product, which, hey, let me know what you think in the comments and all that jazz, do that fun stuff, and tell me if you liked the video, and if you want more like it, and maybe if you want some of those funny, old stories. But anyways, without further ado, here is the finished product.